I've made some pretty spot-on predictions for Jurassic World Evolution 2 in the past. My number 2 bet is actually November 9th. Now for the Dominion DLC, Evil Holmes predicts the release date to be the 14th of June. And we're gonna get something on December 8th. I've nailed the exact release date for both the Dominion Bison expansion and the Malta expansion, and November 9th was my second prediction, my second pick for the release date of the base game. I was able to make these predictions by studying Frontier's pattern for releasing DLCs for both this game as well as the original, and in this video I'm going to be using that knowledge, I'm going to be harnessing it to make predictions for the DLCs coming in 2023 to Jurassic World Evolution 2. I'll be trying to figure out the exact release dates of the DLCs as well as the content that will be coming to the game. My first prediction is, sadly, that there are only going to be 2 more DLCs coming to Jurassic World Evolution 2, and I come to that conclusion by looking at Jurassic World Evolution 1 and using that as the baseline to compare with. Jurassic World Evolution 1 received 8 DLCs in total, including the deluxe pack, over a lifespan of a year and a half, with the game coming out in June of 2018 and the final DLC releasing in December of 2019. It would make sense for Jurassic World Evolution 2 to mirror the life cycle of its predecessor, and since we're already 6 DLCs in with Jurassic World Evolution 2, it makes sense that we could only expect 2 more DLCs to come to the game, so it matches with Jurassic World Evolution 1. 2 more DLCs following Frontier's pattern of releasing a DLC every 3 months would put that 8th and final DLC in June of 2023, and that is 19 months after the launch of the game, closely matching the 17-month lifespan of Jurassic World Evolution 1. The thought that we might have only 2 DLCs left saddens me, and I certainly wouldn't mind being wrong about this one. I've gotten some things very, very right in the past, but I've also gotten some things wrong. So I'm not like claiming to have the definitive answers here. I'm not claiming to be able to look into the future. I'm just basing this on patterns, and it's fun to speculate about the future of the game. Now let's get into more specific predictions for those DLCs. I've made an overview of the release dates of all content that came to both Jurassic World Evolution games. And when you look at the first game, it was a little bit inconsistent, it was a little bit more unpredictable. But Jurassic World Evolution 2 is way more consistent. Aside from the 1-month gap between the release of the base game and the first pack, which was the early Cretaceous pack, there has been consistently a 3-month gap between each DLC. So like clockwork, every 3 months, new content gets added to the game. I'm predicting that Frontier will continue to follow this timeline because there's no reason to indicate that they wouldn't, and that would put the 2 DLCs left for 2023 in March and in June. I don't think this is going to be blowing anybody's mind. I think we were all kind of expecting this, but I'm not done yet. We're going to get into really specific stuff right now. First off, both DLCs will release in the first half of the month. This has been true for all DLC releases for Jurassic World Evolution 2. The latest release day was the 15th of the month, and the average is the 10th of the month. So you can really see that trend to go towards earlier in the month to release content. So for both the March DLC and the June DLC, I'm crossing off the second half of the month when it comes to determining the exact release date. From here on, I'm going to take it 1 DLC at a time, so the first task is to figure out what is going to come in March and when is it gonna come exactly. Here's another overview to help narrow down the options. This shows which releases have been packs and which releases have been expansions. You can see that they never do 2 big expansions back to back. Since the Malta DLC was an expansion, the March DLC will simply be a pack. While I would personally much prefer a new era pack, specifically the Triassic era, I really think that we could use more dinosaurs from that era, I think what we can expect is a second Camp Cretaceous pack. And to be honest, this doesn't really excite me much, but remember that these are predictions, they're not necessarily what I want. They're not a wish list, they're just what I think is going to be happening. The Camp Cretaceous DLC had quite a bit of missing content, and that might sound familiar because we felt the same way when the Dominion Biosyn expansion released. There was missing content. But then a few months later, we got the Malta expansion, which filled in the blanks. So Frontier shows a real dedication to giving us all the dinosaurs that appeared on screen in the franchise. We'll get to you later, don't worry. The Biosyn and the Malta expansion being two separate things shows that Frontier can split up the content from one media source into two separate DLCs. So that's what I think is going to be happening with the Camp Cretaceous content. A second Camp Cretaceous DLC would for sure have the Tarbosaurus and the Nothosaurus, as well as some of the missing skins like Little Edie, the Spinosaurus, the Raptors, and other skins that I don't personally remember, but that fans of the show will remember and want to see in the game. The Smilodon and the Spinoceratops are two big question marks because on one hand, if they do release a second Camp Cretaceous DLC and these two creatures are not in, there will be an absolute storm. But on the other hand, Smilodon as the sole mammal in the game, if it is added, as the sole mammal, it would stand out like a sore thumb, and it also doesn't really fit with the current hatchery mechanics, which is very egg-based, and as a mammal, Smilodon would not be coming out of an egg. And Spinoceratops, the problem there is that it's only shown as a juvenile. Now Frontier can easily make an adult model for the Spinoceratops. I think they actually did that for Jurassic World Live, that they gave you an adult Spinoceratops. So that's not really the issue, it's not like they can't, but I think that's also going to kick people against the shin. Is that an expression? It is now. It's gonna rub people the wrong way that they are finally gonna get the Spinoceratops, but it's not gonna look the way it looked in the show. And no, obviously the solution here is not to give us juvenile or baby Spinoceratops, because that's a whole can of worms. So with regards to these two species, when it comes to a prediction, I'm really on the fence. I'm unsure about those. I'm really split 50-50, and I would love to see your guys' thoughts on this in the comments. Now, as for the release date, where my true talent shines. It would be so funny if I get this right again. Here are the days of the week that Frontier released all of the DLC content for both games on, and as you can see, it's pretty much always either a Tuesday or a Thursday, with a very clear preference for Tuesdays. Given that Tuesday seems to be the preferred day of the week, and we already had two Thursday releases back to back, I'll say that the March DLC, the proposed or predicted Camp Cretaceous DLC, will come out on a Tuesday in the first half of March. Exactly like the first Camp Cretaceous DLC from 2022. Now a Thursday in the first half of March, that already narrows it down greatly, so it's either going to be the 7th or the 14th, and with those choices I will go for the 7th, because it's really close to the release of the first Camp Cretaceous DLC, which came out on the 8th. My second prediction would then logically be the 14th, and the third runner-up would be the 9th, a Thursday release. So yeah, timestamp this moment so we can come back to this and see if I was right. So my prediction is that on March 7th, Frontier will release a second Camp Cretaceous DLC. If you are enjoying this prediction video, please give it a like and of course subscribe for more Jurassic World Evolution 2 content. Now we're gonna move on to the June DLC, which is more exciting in my opinion. In June of 2023, Jurassic Park celebrates the 30th anniversary of the original movie, and of course June 2023 coincides exactly with Frontier's regular pattern of releasing DLCs, so it just makes total sense for the June DLC that we're already predicting is going to happen is going to be related to that 30th anniversary of the movie. First question to answer, will it be a pack or will it be an expansion? Well, the March DLC will almost definitely be a pack, as we see from the pattern here. They never do an expansion back to back. So if the March DLC is going to be a pack, really the June DLC could be either. It could be a pack or an expansion. But since I'm predicting that it will be the final DLC for Jurassic World Evolution 2, I think it'll be an expansion. Because I think that if you're gonna end the life cycle of your campaign, you're gonna want to end with something big to give it a good final boost, send it on its way to, keep it going for a little bit longer, give the community some hype that'll keep the game alive for a little bit, which is something I don't think a pack will do. And this is something that Frontier did successfully with Jurassic World Evolution 1 by releasing the Return to Jurassic Park DLC as its final DLC, which was one of the best DLCs and really it was a second life for that game. Also, both the first and the second game received big expansions in the summer that they were still under active support, with the Biosyn expansion for Jurassic World Evolution 2 last summer, and I want to say Claire's Sanctuary off the top of my head for Jurassic World Evolution 1 in the summer of 2019. So again, that seems to establish a trend, and there's no reason to suspect that Frontier will deviate from that trend this time around. Now, as I've said in a previous video, I don't really see any content from the Jurassic Park movie from 1993 that they could add to Jurassic World Evolution 2 in a DLC, because all of the significant content from the movie we already have in the game. Jurassic World Evolution 2 already covered its bases in that regard. So then I started to think, what can they do? And it seems to me like a good option to celebrate that milestone would be to give us content from the novel that started the entire franchise. This expansion would include dinosaurs that were mentioned in the original novel but haven't made it into Jurassic World Evolution 2 yet, like the Microceratus, which was named in the original Jurassic Park novel under its original name, the Microceratops. But way more exciting than dinosaurs, in my opinion, is that a novel DLC could give us an attraction that I think we've wanted since Jurassic World Evolution 1, and that is the Jungle River Cruise. It would be so good to finally have that in the game. It could also give us a new hotel type, the Terratops Lodge, which we could attach to our aviaries. The maps for this DLC might be the one thing that aren't particularly exciting, since based on the novel, you would logically just get 2 more or maybe even 3 more new locations on the Nublar map. But if they want to get creative, they could also give us a location for Jurassic Park Japan, because that's actually very briefly mentioned in the original novel, and it would be so cool as like an alternate universe kind of take on things that we could build Jurassic Park Japan as was planned. Now, it was planned or mentioned to be built on an island off the coast of Guam, so that would naturally, logically mean another tropical biome. But even more exciting would be if they just scratch that Guam idea, bring it closer to the actual island of Japan, and give us a more Japanese biome as well as Japanese-inspired architecture. Just imagine, just like we have the Pennsylvania trees, which is, it's temperate, but it has this completely unique look. What if they give us like Japan in spring, with the cherry blossoms and then some Asian-inspired architecture? Oh, that would be so amazing, so different, and it would just give us so much more new creativity to end the game with. The new maps would come with new challenge modes, there would be a little bit of an addition to the story campaign, and since Frontier has already managed to get Jeff Goldblum, Laura Dern, and Sam Neill to do voiceover work previously, I think it wouldn't be a stretch that they can get them to come back and do some voiceover work for this new campaign that would tie into this novel DLC. And again, like I said, kind of like an alternate universe where, Jurassic Park didn't go to hell in a handbasket. It was actually a success. So now we're building Jurassic Park Japan with the help of our consultants. Let me know what you would think of this DLC. But first, it is now time to do an exact release date prediction. Okay, so first half of the month, we already established that. Now we can look at the premiere of Jurassic Park to give us a little bit more of a reference. Now, the premiere of Jurassic Park in 1993 was either June 9th, like the first premiere, but it released to the public on June 11th. So those are the two dates for the exact anniversary. However, Frontier tends to not release DLCs on the exact date of whatever it is that they're tying into, especially not if those days are not on either a Tuesday or a Thursday. With the actual anniversary dates falling in a weekend, I think we can expect the DLC to come out in the week after that weekend. So I'm gonna go with either the 13th or the 15th of June, with the announcement of the DLC coming either a week or two before those dates. For my first prediction, my first pick, what I consider to be most likely, I'm gonna go for another Tuesday release, so get ready to timestamp this again. I'm gonna say that on June 13th, Frontier is going to release a novel-based DLC for Jurassic World Evolution 2. And Frontier, don't sneakily change anything just to prove me wrong. Comment down below what you think of my predictions and what your own predictions are for the future of Jurassic World Evolution 2. Thank you so much for watching, liking, subscribing, and until next time, enjoy the game.